Tune in, it's time for Comedy G. Bringing stars and stories, it's where you wanna be. From celebs to entrepreneurs, she's got the scoop. Community and entertainment, she's in the loop. Every smile a burst of velvet light. Through the screen she shines so bright. With the laughs and tales that weave tonight.
Well, welcome to another episode of SKST Radio, and you tuned into the Cammie Grayson Show, and tonight is Artist Network, and let me tell you something. I have a powerhouse that's an icon, and she goes by the name of Carolyn Griffey. Did I say that right?
Griffey.
Carolyn Griffey. I knew I was going to mess that up. I just should say Carolyn.
It's I. Griffey.
Well, Carolyn, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you for having me.
Absolutely. So I'm really just going to be nosy. I want to learn about your life, girl. You look like you have the life that everybody has looked to. You, I mean, you grew up in this life, right? And those records behind you. I mean, girl, you are like a powerhouse.
Well, I don't consider myself a powerhouse. My father was the powerhouse. I just as was left to be the voice, since the family does not seem to be interested in the public part of that. So I knew being the family ham would pay off at some point. Yeah.
Okay, so let's give people a little background about your life. About your family and your father. I mean, oh my gosh. So I mean, it's just amazing. So let's start from there.
Well, my dad was, like I say, he was a powerhouse. He was a man who foundationally broke a lot of ground for not only the music industry, the film industry, just entertainment and other avenues of it. I like to talk about the fact that he was a mentor. He wasn't just, he started as a booking agent on Soul Train. That's where the public part of it started. He actually, being from Nashville, Tennessee, was a medic in the I can't believe, Navy. Mm-hmm. He was a medic in the Navy, always was raised around music. My grandmother raised him in the Baptist church. She also was a gospel artist. But he just wanted so much. Oh my gosh. And if you zoom into that, that's a picture with the Shalamar button on my clothes. Let me tell you the funny thing about that picture. She would kill me if she heard me say this. On the other side of my dad is Hollywood's most well-known. She's a celebrity barber. Her name is Stacy Cutts. She grew up together. She's like my cousin. She's been Eddie Murphy's personal barber to this day, has done all of the, everyone in Hollywood's hair she's done. All of the movies Eddie does, everything, Anthony Anderson, anybody you see that is of our denomination in the industry, she's done it. So she's on the other side of that picture. And I'm glad that she better be nice to me, because if I showed that picture, she'd really kill me. But anyway, so after, he was a booking agent on Soul Train. He and Don Cornelius were very good friends. Rest in peace. And miss him terribly. And because of the fact that he had a love for promotions, people didn't know that he was a club promoter. He had a club called Guys and Dolls, and his hustling initially was 2 phone booths on the corner of Crenshaw in Los Angeles. He was sitting up here when he had the phone booths. So he literally is a self-made from the ground up. I call him, he was the mogul of all moguls, because he was by God anointed to be a visionary. People don't know that there was a Soul Train Club a Soul Train club. That was his idea. Don really was just into his show. He was into his show, but he needed to connect those dots. And at the time, there were no Black promoters in Los Angeles. So he became the premier Black promoter to be able to bring shows like the Jacksons Victory Tour, OJ's, Ike and Tina Turner, Al Green, anybody, James Brown, anybody that you name, he was promoting these shows. And he was in the club business. But what happened was, to shorten the whole thing, because it's a long history, Don wasn't crazy about losing money, so he didn't want to be in the record industry anymore. So he sold his interest of Soul Train Records and whatever the club to my father, and that is how Solar Records was born. So and a lot of people don't know, Dick Griffey, he created a lot of first for us as a people and in the industry. I mean, there's so many things people don't know, that he was the first Black promoter to ever take an artist, a Black artist, out of the country, which was Stevie Wonder, to Japan.
Wow.
And he took Stevie to Japan. And there's a funny story involving my mother, Carrie Lucas, who was the first lady of Soul Train Records, and Denise Williams, who was in Wonderlove at the time. So like I say, you might have to direct me, because there's so many ways I could go.
Well, I want to hear the funny story.
Long story short, don't kill me, Denise. I know Denise lives here in Vegas with me, so when I see her, I don't want to get whopped. At the time, my mother was on tour with my dad, and of course I was left home with the grandmother. Denise, I guess, wasn't feeling well, and she told Stevie that she wasn't going to make the show. So of course, my father, being the man that he was, looked at my mom and said, "Carrie, go on and get up there." Sent her to a rehearsal, and my mother filled in for Denise Williams that night.
Wow.
And needless to say, she felt a whole lot better the next day.
I bet she did. The show must go on.
Oh, honey. No, yeah, one monkey. My father was prominent in saying, one monkey don't stop no show. It was going to get done one way or the other. So, but anyway, fast forwarding. So Soul Train Club never resurfaced. However, but it is still of the family of Solar Records. Soul Train Records morphed into Solar Records, and there you have of course, we'll catch up throughout the show. So.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. So all the just name, because this is Black History Month, right? And so just name a few of the artists that was on Solar Records, because a lot of people don't know.
Okay, so first of all, Solar Records, SOLAR, it's an acronym for Sound of Los Angeles Records. So a lot people, it's funny, to this day, a lot of people don't know that, but you've got Stax that came from Memphis. You've got Philly International, of course, and you've got so many. Motown was Detroit, so technically Solar was the only representative of our Los Angeles at the time. So it was definitely a very exciting time. And I forgot to mention, he had to pass the torch for promotions on, because he was no longer going to be in the promotion business. So he flew a very young Al Heyman, who everyone knows. Al Heyman ended up being the premier Black promoter in the industry. And he went on to do, every big concert. Remember the Budweiser Superfest, all of that was Al Heyman. So, and he ended up going on into boxing and everything else, HBO, the list goes on.
The birth of it. Wow.
I really enjoy talking about the footprints that my father left, that I still see everywhere. So it's like, even though he's gone, his legacy still lives on, not just through the groups, but there's so many places. And if there were no one here to talk about it, then no one would know.
Right, right. So I'm amazed that, you know, again, this is our history. This is our history in music, right? And so for you to be able to give us these nuggets, I mean, this is amazing. This is amazing because a lot of people, you know, don't know. They want to know, you know, what happened to da 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 da, what happened to this person, what happened to this person. And for some people just don't get out and talk about it that much, you know.
I think we as a people, though, I think we need to raise the bar about our legacies, our Black legacies. And I was on another podcast, good friend of mine, C.T. Fletcher. He's legendary bodybuilder. He's not known for his sweet tongue, but he's a wonderful, wonderful man. I remember talking about the fact that, you know, because of course, as we get into Shalamar, I'm sure the story doesn't change. I have dealt with so much just in the industry, period, how cruel we are to our own. We get more respect all over the world from people of other cultures than we give one another ourselves.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work that went into us rising out of the ashes. And when we don't take the initiative to continue to lift and rise instead of trying to set down or smother another one of us, to me, I just think it's working backwards. And you know what? And rest in peace to my Uncle Jesse, as I used to call him, Uncle Reverend. My father and Reverend Jackson were very, very close, and we're close to the Jackson family. My father was one of the chief financiers of his presidential campaign. And we spent a lot of time together. I just, you know, and this is being the fact that he passed on President's Day and during Black History Month. I know this is also something that, you know, the family would agree with. Look at all the blood, sweat, and tears that were shed and the legacies that are, I mean, Reverend Jackson literally opened so many doors for us and really picked up the mantle, especially after Reverend Martin Luther King passed. It's like, and along with some others, of course, but to sit here in the eve of his, I'll say, transitioning, we owe ourselves a lot more respect.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, so I just, you know, and it's funny because you said that you follow me on social media. I know I don't talk a lot about this because the family that I grew up in was such a lot of pressure. I'm the flower child, believe it or not. This is not something that I thought I would grow up and be doing. I'm the one that ran off, and my parents couldn't find, they went off to Paris and I stayed at home. I made New York. They're taking my kids to Euro Disney and I'm flying somewhere else. So I've kind of always, I don't want to say black sheep. I was just always the really disobedient one.
I like the term flower child.
Yes, I'm the hippie of the family. I like to frolic. I'm the black child. My father moved us to the valley so I could have horses. And that's literally where most people know that's where you would find me. In the mud, in the dirt, on the water, on my horse. So, you know, I didn't really expect to stand up and represent this amazing legacy on my own. And I have family. Of course, my mother's our head chair, and we've got an amazing board overseas that really we ended up having to comprise because a lot of the family just did not want to pick up the mantle. And there was a lot of legal things left unresolved that we're still dealing with. But, you know, I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the people that I do have, you know, our chair, Jesse Sang, which I will say this. We had to reopen Solar as an anchor for foundation in the UK when we started going and dealing with our lawsuits that we ended up having to fight. And thank goodness, I have a very good friend and sister of mine. We're all still sisters. She is a Chinese, she's a British Chinese, I was going to say American woman by the name of Jessie Sang. She's a powerhouse. And our VP is Sonia Damney. She's an Indian, is what they call Asian over there, woman.
Okay.
And let me say this, my father's company was primarily run by women. He always had women in the seats. And he always, the thing is, it's not just about black or white. Now we're melanated. At this point, we all need to be on the same level, on the same floor, fighting with and for each other. Mm-hmm. So I didn't realize what was happening at the time because these are friends of mine, but the ones that stepped up when we needed them. And you'd be surprised how many people you lose when it comes to needing help. Needing help. My father, as powerful as he wasn't great with some of the holdings and business that he was doing because he trusted, in the later years, I guess he trusted just the wrong people. He moved to Accra, Africa, and just things did not go as planned. He had some huge plans. And so the thing is basically picking up where he left off and making sure that his work never has, I would bet that there are people, of course, that don't know who Dick Griffey is, but there is no one on the face of this earth that does not know one of his footprints. And that is my job, to make sure to connect those dots, to connect the dots. I mean, it's funny when and you asked me early on, I'm sorry, for some of the people that were on Solar, of course, it started with the Whispers, my mother, the Whispers, and Shalamar. Yeah. And Shalamar, just by the way, as we start talking about it, was one of the only groups that was created. My father, Dick Griffey, and Don Cornelius created the group Shalamar because there was already a single. There was a single done. They didn't expect the single to go to hit. It hit, and they're like, well, what are we going to do now? Now we've got a hit record. We don't have a group.
That was backwards.
That was very backwards, but it was unexpected. So that's when they got together, and my father, being the booking agent on Soul Train, of course, like he said, Jeffrey was so dynamic, and he was one of the premier dancers. And I'm sorry to all my Soul Train dancers out there, because there's plenty of you guys were all superstars, and I'm still close to most of them. Of course, like our beautiful Cheryl Song, our gorgeous Asian beauty, who is still just as gorgeous, and Derek Fox and Madame Butterfly and all of them. But which is cool because they remembered me as a little girl. So now getting to be amidst that it's still it's a beautiful thing. Told Jeffrey, you know what, he says, you and your girl, of course, that was Jody at the time they were dancing. He said, I want to build a group around you two. And we, of course, had to find someone else. So we'll come back to that. But so the thing is, so Shalamar, and of course, later on, Lakeside, Midnight Star, Climax. And of course, at the time when he got the deal, a lot of people don't know that Babyface, of course, was the key writer of the deal, but he was very shy, and he sang all of the demos except for when Carlos or someone else sang, but never wanted to be up front.
Wow.
So my father pulled him to the side, and he said, look, you are here making one money, we're gonna get you two. Because the thing is, my father is the one that encouraged Kenny to do Babyface.
Nice.
So yeah, so that was a little nugget in history people don't know. So the first, his album Lovers was on Solar, and I got to sit in the studio with them all the time. So it was, I didn't realize during the time, I knew they were talented. I did not realize who they would become because it took them so long to get there. Literally. And I will say that I give my father complete credit of the fact that when you go to, at the time, Chrysalis, there's a lot of the record companies that are not together. They're not intact anymore. But 1 album, 2 albums, 3 at the most, you're out of there. They don't give you, your studio time cost. People don't understand. Artists, everything that they do has a price tag on it.
Right.
So I hear artists saying, well, we didn't get paid this and we didn't get paid that and all this stuff. That they have no idea the sacrifice and the finances that go into the projects, and the fact that you have to make 3 times more in order just to break even, not even to be able to, really flourish. So, the fact that we owned our building, my dad was the first African-American or a Black man to build a skyscraper in Hollywood. It was the beginning of the Hollywood regentrification of Hollywood. And actually the mayor of Hollywood begged my dad to do it at the time because it was really going downhill. And he says, we really want to rebuild. And they gave him a great deal. So February 1st, 1981, he, Muhammad Ali, Virgil Roberts, our attorney, and several others put their hard hats and shovels in the ground, and there stands the first Black skyscraper built in Hollywood. And to this day, to be honest, I don't know if there's another, which was a Black-owned building. Unfortunately, now Diane Warren, great songwriter, she owns the building now. But that is a good piece of Black history that a lot of people don't know.
Wow. That is so cool. Yeah, so I never would have known that. Never would have known that. So that's
which
amazing.
Also became the home of Death Row too, which is further down the line as we get through there.
Yeah. Wow. So okay. So let's talk about my Shalamar. Let's talk about that and how you got involved in being in that group.
Oh wow. Okay, let me put my glasses back on because So Shalamar was my absolute favorite group in the world. Love Shalamar, and I love all the other groups on the label, of course. But it's just there was just always a thing. There was always just a chemistry and a magic with those 3. And when they broke up, I was a teenage. I was early teens when they broke up. I was like those goth kids you see in those movies that just wear black and the black eyeliner. My world had come to an end. I would you don't understand. We lived in a beautiful ranch on a lake, had horses and all my horses and everything. I didn't go outside I didn't think I bathed for a week. My mother had to come in my room and be like, look, you gonna get up out this bed and you gonna get yourself together. And I mean, it was the most horrible thing in the world, not just because they were my favorite group. It's just, I think, even though I was young, I still was around the business and I understood they were right at the pinnacle of crossing over and really becoming a super group. A super group with a crossover appeal. It wasn't just because what people don't know that Shalamar was the second Black artist on MTV. Wow. The first was Michael. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of people don't. That's what I'm saying. When I saw when I saw the Black Godfather and rest his soul, I loved Clarence and Jackie Avant's children, and I grew up together, Alex and Nicole. And I loved them. I loved them. And I saw in the Black Godfather where they talked about he was a part of it, but Dick Griffey had a big hand in that transaction of getting Michael, which the first video was Billie Jean on MTV. They did not want Black artists on there. So he literally was a freedom fighter. He was really, people don't know he's involved in so many things. He was on the ground even with Jesse Jackson way before the presidential, campaign. And hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. We've got a studio on the other side. So help me. I was talking about my dad and his footprint and being involved in the civil rights and just in fighting for a lot of our freedoms as a people. So there's just, you know what, I just look, Howard laughs at me when I do that. When I do that, he just goes, I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm waving at the thought that you're not going to get because it's gone.
That's what I call my butterfly moment.
Thank you for that. I'm gonna have to borrow that.
Yes, please do.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm gonna let you kind of dip in because I literally lost that. My butterfly flew away.
Oh, your butterfly flew away. That's okay. I mean, so we were basically still talking about the history of everything and how you know, your dad was instrumental in getting us on the MTV award, MTV shows.
You know, along with so many other things, he was a part of the anti-apartheid movement. We did one of the first celebrity-studded telethons, Black telethons, and to raise money. He was friends with Mandela and his bride Winnie, and was a part of. There was a lot of things. You know, Africa became extremely influenced, I guess, through the work that he was doing, because he ended up moving over there later on. Matter of fact, he was the first person that ever took Reverend Jackson out of the country to Africa.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Gosh, I'm gonna miss that man. You know what, in his younger years, he literally, not only was he great at what it is that he afforded us the right to be able to do, but he was funny. He was funny, some of the things. And I just realized, I was like, you know what, those are family moments, so they will remain family moments. But at least I found a moment to be able to just, you know, have a fond thought in the hours of our grief, because this is a very grievous time. It's hard.
I know it is. I can only imagine. And like I said, I really appreciate you being here tonight, because you know, I follow you on your social media, so I know that him passing was a big deal in your life. So I do appreciate you being here.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard, because I mean, I know that I can keep a smile on my face, and I even left a message on my Facebook stories today saying I'm going to post goofy stuff because I'm a goofball and I love it. I just, you know, I've never taken myself so serious to keep us laughing, because, you know, the thing is, you know, there's people that are serious enough for everybody. And, you know, I'm not in politics, nor do I think I ever will be. But at this point, I'm 56 and I'm going to still keep having fun. I'll probably be a kid until I leave here. So, you know, like I said, I was the least of us to do this.
Yeah.
So sometimes I feel a little under-equipped, but we don't have a choice. Who you see is what you get.
Right. Well, you know, life is short. And so I believe your decision to live your life is a good decision. You know, going to the gym, doing all the cool things that you're doing, spending time with your little baby. I mean, because what do you call a fur baby? Spending time with your fur baby.
My kids call that their brother. They know that's their brother. My sons used to get really upset with me at first, because they were just like, and that's funny because I don't know, has Julie McKnight's been on your show, correct, already? Correct? Yeah.
I think so.
Julie is that's my twin flame. That's my sister. And we send each other pictures of our dogs and their behaviors.
Oh, wow.
So we send them cousin pics. We're kind of like non-melanated people when it comes to our dogs, because, you know, most Black folks are like, that dog better not get on my furniture. But it's probably why I'm still single. Although I will say, You know what I will say? Actually, one of my exes is the one that bought Diesel for us.
Okay.
I think when I left, I think he was more upset that I took the dog than me leaving. And I've been pretty blessed that, you know, the ones that came after that, they loved him. He's so lovable. He's so lovable. But my former fiance, we're still really good friends. We talk pretty much every day. He loved him, but he was like, he ain't getting up in this bed.
I know that's right.
So, but yeah. So and like I said, the thing is, who's that? That's Spiffy. That's my son's dog. That's my grandpup.
That's your grandpup?
That's my grandpup. I have two grandpups. And you know what's funny? One's a pity and the other one's a XL, Bully XL. So
wow.
Yeah, but it's because I travel so much is another reason why you guys will be seeing a lot more with me with my horses, because you know everybody knows I'm a black cowgirl. Everybody knows that I am completely down with educating us on our heritage in that area, because like I say, you know, I've been blessed to have some great friends. We just celebrated Glenn Turman's 79th birthday out at his California ranch. And it's my favorite place on earth. Glenn knows. I told him, I said, you know, when everybody's gone, I said, I want everybody, I tell all his grandkids and kids, when I leave here, that's where I want to be sprinkled. Because it's just a place of it's always just been a place of peace. I've raised my children there. And I love the country. I love the land. I love, you know, maybe it's my native, you know, it's my native ancestry in me, but, you know, just the land, the sea, the water,
air, peace,
nature, peace, grounding. And yes, and I probably still don't have the softest feet because I've walked around barefoot since I was 10.
Girl, you don't want to know I'm in my socks right now at the studio.
Honey, let me tell you something.
I'm from Dallas, Texas, so I know.
I do have a story. So I seem to still have decent relationships with most of my exes, but one of my exes, he's from Grand Prairie.
Okay.
And he's a black cowboy. And actually, the funny thing is, his name is Reginald T. Dorsey. He is an actor in Hollywood, but he is one of and Glenn Turman, they're best friends. That's how I got connected with Glenn and all the, you know, the Hollywood black cowboys like Oba Babatunde, James Pickens Jr., and, you know, that our whole equine family. But I will never forget. This is embarrassing. Am I saying this on your show? Yes, I'm saying this on your show. I will never forget, because you're from Texas. This man ran me a bath. Reginald, yes, I'm telling you a story. And then he pulls out his Leatherman, because a real cowboy, you never leave home without being prepared. You got to have your Leatherman. You don't ever know what's going to happen. He pulls it out. He gives me I guess there was no pumice stone. He peeled my feet.
Oh my goodness.
It was so bad but the thing is, you can get so many pedicures, but unless somebody really knows how to get you a pedicure, I probably could walk on hot coals. That's when I was younger.
But then, yeah.
I used to ride. I mean, because I lived on a ranch. I mean, went from the lake. Sometimes I go hop from the lake, go hop on my horse down the street, bareback, wet, and I'd ride barefoot in my bathing suit. So, you know.
Hey, that's life. So our family had land in Mahara, Texas.
Oh, wow.
And so that's every summer, you know, every trip we went to Mahara, Texas, family reunion. And so it was just amazing, you know. And I have a friend, her name is Jody, and she has a farm in DeSoto, Texas, I believe.
Wow.
So yeah, she's a black-owned farm, and she's trying to build it up and do hay rides, and education programs.
I love it. And by the way, while I'm on here at the Bill Pickett Rodeo, BPIR, You guys, if it's coming to your town, check it out. I mean, that's not just what Black Cowboy and Cowgirls do, but support them. They are amazing. It's amazing. It's the best show you'll ever see on dirt. And
give us a name again.
The Bill Pickett Invitational Rodeo.
Okay,
Yes.
nice.
Yes, and it's great, and it's beautiful to let kids, our little beautiful light brown skinned babies watch these, watch what we do. Watch,
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is, it's a part of our heritage. And and we were talking about this earlier on another podcast about the fact that we do ourselves a disservice because it's been ripped and taken from us. And I think about in school, I wasn't great in school, but at the same time, the history was the worst subject for me. I know for a fact, if I had learned the things that we were a part of, that we started, that we invented, the things, history would have been so fun for us.
Yeah.
To know who we were, to know what we came from. The only thing I knew that we came from is roots. I mean, if I did,
yeah, I was thinking of that earlier.
And we didn't have the inheritance of being kings and queens and coming from a land that is the most plentiful on the face of this earth. So,
Yes.
The way it was devised for us to separate and not be, look at that. And, boots on the ground, all that stuff. Actually, one of my really, really good friends is a gentleman by the name of Charlie Sampson. He is the world's first Black champion bull rider.
Wow.
He had his face stepped on every bone in his body. As a matter of fact, that's funny that we're saying that because I have a Charlie Sampson t-shirt.
Oh my goodness.
Charles,
How cool is that?
Charles gave this to me at the National Finals Rodeo here in Las Vegas that they have every year. And by the way, let me add, there's not one Black barrel racer that has ever set foot on that dirt. So that, and that's another thing I tell people, I'm not just fighting for my family's legacy, my musical legacy. I'm fighting for our legacy. So
Yes.
our children know who we are. They know what we are capable of, and there's power in information. So,
Yes.
it may not be a big deal to somebody else, but it was a big deal to me because I was riding horses all my life by myself, being the only Black girl, and I had no idea the entire world opened up to me when, like I say, Reginald and I were, dating and getting to go on the road, and I mean, we did all kinds of stuff. Matter of fact, Howard and Mickey Free at the time was in Shalamar. Used to come out to the house and go horseback riding with me, and and Mickey Free, he was the second. He replaced Jeffrey when Jeffrey left. So everybody knows him as shirts versus blouses and the whole Charlie Murphy thing. But he is, he ended up cashing in on his Cherokee heritage, and he was not, he went back to school. He got all in with the nation, and he became Cherokee free. He started doing mounted riding, shooting, and had a ranch and everything else. So there's a lot of it. So I've got a project with my beautiful cousin. Her name is Paige Turner. She's on HGTV's Love It or List It. So you guys check out Paige.
I'll check her out.
She's amazing. Their love story. Mike Hill. I don't know if you know who Mike Hill is. He's a sports newscaster here in Los Angeles, but they found one another and they are so entertaining. I'm going to have to send you them because you're going to have to get them on the show as well.
Okay. I would love that. I would absolutely love that.
But we have a project that we've been shopping for the past few years, and it's basically more awareness, letting people know, even the Black cowboys in Hollywood.
Yeah. So my cousin is a historian. He was on the show, my first show earlier today, and he was talking about the Egyptians and the Kush, all our heritage. So he was talking about all the things that we missed, and Black cowboys was one of them. That people didn't realize that we were cowboys forever. And so
actually, and cowboys was a derogatory term because they were calling them boys, you know,
yeah,
wrestling
yeah.
cows. But the thing is, that literally was not a good term. But you know, we've kind of adapted to it, and we know who we are. But I'm a cowgirl. I'll be one till I die. So if you look, honey, if you could see my wall of hats and belts, I've just got belts and hats and buckles and boots, and that's if I'm not in workout clothes or Shalamar or Solar Records merch, I'm in socks.
I know that's right. Me too. I'm always in my socks or my Cammy's Collection t-shirts. Yeah. So I need to send you one too. I need to get your size, and I'll send you one of my Cammy's Collection t-shirts.
Okay, well, I'll make sure Miriam. We're actually working on our new merch for our Gold Tour, which is coming up. We are celebrating 50 years of Shalamar music, and it's the Golden Tour. It's the Golden Tour. We are not doing the tour. The tour is not really here. We are doing some spot dates here in the States, but we've mainly been overseas for the past 25 years.
Wow.
So and
I feel like the overseas people they get it late, but at the end of the day, it seemed like they support us way more.
But that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying.
Oh, I love it.
So you guys, if you're wherever you're watching, whether if you're in Paris, if you're in Holland, if you're in England, you know, we're not coming to Spain this time. I think we've got something in South America coming up, and you know,
okay.
I'm in a family of my son came over, and he's actually recording my mom in the next room. Yeah, so my mother is she's still singing. Her voice is still silky. I wish I got her voice. I got the rasp. I don't know where this came from, but I wish it would leave.
I never had that voice. You know, I could sing next, whatever the person's next to me singing.
I like to sing a lot of watermelon. That's why, you know, people don't understand, you know, I never desired to be on my own. I never wanted to be you know, like people, I want to be a solo. I never really wanted to be a solo artist. That's why, you know, going back to I guess we kind of got off the Shalamar thing and how I got in there.
Oh, it's okay. I'm enjoying the girl talk.
You know, you know, me loving Shalamar and being close. I've always been close to Howard Hewitt. I used to babysit Howard's kids. You know, I was close to all of them, actually. Well, I wasn't really close to Jody. I was closer to Jody's sister, Michelle. We grew up together. And Jeffrey, for however long he was here, because Jeffrey, you know, he moved overseas. But for a while, they were doing Shalamar. They were performing the songs because obviously Jody went on to have an amazing solo career. And then Howard, you know, when everybody came back together, they just did spot shows, but then it became a demand to have a female in there. So they, you know, they didn't go looking. They came to me because I was close to them, obviously. And the funny thing is, people don't know too. I had my own group. I was signed to Solar Epic with my girlfriend Tiara Max, and it's so funny. Brandy, Jackie Jackson's daughter, Brandy. Hi, Brandy, I love you. She was a beautiful little girl, and I begged my aunt to put her in the video. And Tommy Davidson was in our video, but Jeffrey Daniel choreographed that video for us.
Oh, wow.
And he was in the video. I'm gonna have to send you the link. It's hilarious, but I just didn't want to do it. So they, you know, Howard said, "Hey, babe, you know, we got a show overseas, private gig. You know, why don't you come sing the girl parts," as he put it. And so did it. I was excited. I was scared. I was nervous because, I mean, to me, you know, I was the avid Shalamar fan. Nobody could replace anybody in anything. But okay,
right.
And I was just so, trust me, and they didn't say it to me. I was terrible. But So when I came back, I was so excited. I told my dad, my mom, I went to London and I did a show at the Dorchester Hotel. And my father's sitting there looking at me like, you did what? First of all, the fact that my father didn't know that I was out of the country. My father knew everything I did. I got stories and stories and stories of things that I thought I was doing and got away with. And the fact that I came back and he knew everywhere and everything and sent people there.
Yeah. He had his little spies.
I was followed. I was followed by many when I was young. He always had someone trailing me. I didn't know that. But later on I found out why, because there was a reason I needed to be protected. We can come back to that. So anyway, long story short, he was like, well, this is what they want to do. He called the meeting because he owned the name.
Yeah.
He was like, well, and he told the guys, hey, this is my trademark. You can't just use the name. You've got to have, so he said, so with that being said, we're going to solidify this and we'll put my daughter here and we're going to do this. And this is how we'll do it to make sure that it won't be done without her. And I was sitting there sinking in my seat. Like, I didn't have any desire to do that. That's not what I was thinking, but that's what when Dick Griffey tells you to do something, you just do it.
Yeah.
So, it was hard. It was, it wasn't an easy transition for me. It was very uncomfortable. It was very unsettling. And of course, like anybody else, I just, dealt with a lot. So, but, it was years and years. And I know that my father made the decision based on his anointing in being a visionary, because he put me in the group, but he never saw me perform.
Wow.
He never saw me perform. And then, so what happened, down the line, my dad became ill. And when he passed, we were grieving, obviously. And it wasn't expected. Found out that the name had been, had to fight for the name.
Really?
So, yeah. So, Jody felt that we were using her likeness for certain things, and it was done when the family was grieving. So it was not a good time. And it was it was something you just would never think would happen. Because, a trademark, an IP is not something that you just get handed because you're a part of it. You are either, you have right to ownership, or it's by succession.
Right.
So, people don't understand. I've been a part of a fight, literally, that technically was not my fight, but it became my fight when it got dropped in my lap, and I had to make sure. And thank God, like I say, our board and Jesse and the legal, that stuff is expensive. A lot of times these groups, they lose because you get bled out. Yeah. But, that is something that I wasn't happy with, but I'm going to tell you what God does. Excuse me. Mm-hmm. That whole situation, as horrible as it was, made Howard and Jeffrey, made them, I don't want to say get up off of their things, but it made them more serious about wanting to bring the group together. Because basically we just got together once a year. It was just something, if we were needed, then we go do, show once, maybe twice a year. Then it became serious, because the thing is, guys, you know what? If we want to be able to do this, we have to show usage. And we did have usage. So, it's been a long road, but at this point, my thing is legacy is legacy. Whoever was in it, whoever was a part of it, it's a part of their legacy. Everyone is a part of creating that magic that, we wouldn't be having anything to talk about if it wasn't, if that work, if that love, if that combination, to me, they were magic. Yeah. There was no other group in the world that and to be fair, I never thought that I came in and I feel the need to carry the legacy on and to celebrate it. But I would never compare myself, ever, because there's no comparison.
Right.
You
Well,
know.
everybody bring their own little piece of the pie, to the table. And so,
Yeah.
yes, your tenure was wonderful. Hers was wonderful,
Oh
and
my
so
God.
it just made it. It just kept it going.
And I feel bad because Delisa Davis came in and I think she did a great job. To be fair, I don't think my father, when they did the talent search, he and Mickey Free and Howard, when they did that, I don't think that they picked, and let me say this, I don't want to say wisely, because she definitely was not a replacement for her. She looked nothing like her. She sounded nothing like her. But maybe that was what was needed for the time and change of the music to go into the next season. But, so the thing is, but when I tell you, they couldn't have picked a sweeter, more beautiful, kind, talented woman. Delisa Davis was from Nashville, Tennessee, from my dad's hometown. And I mean, to this day, she's still beautiful. And I have to, I'm saying her name because I realize there's usually so much back and forth that she gets overshadowed. This is her legacy too.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody that had a hand in it, everybody, this is but it's like I say, but it's a brand. Your business is a brand. It's a thing where when we're all gone, somebody's going to do it. Because you know what, the music lives on. It lives on forever. So the thing is, I've never in my life seen so many people talk about who's not a Four Top or who's not a Temptation or who's, the only thing I hear is that's not, if it's not, this is what it is.
Yeah.
This is what it is. And and I didn't want to do it. I didn't come in here to do this, but now that I'm here, I take pride in it. I take pride in my men, my Shalamar, my guys. I love them. We have been through everything, and I will do everything to love and I take care of them. I'm the road wife, they're okay. And that was the issue with my fiance when he came out on the road. Why are you always doing that for them? They're my guys. They're older. When you work with somebody, that becomes your unit.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I cherish them because life is fleeting, and we're getting older. And losing Uncle Walt of the Whispers, that was one of the hardest losses.
Oh,
And
yeah, that was this summer, right?
Ooh, I mean, I still can't say it without it affecting me. And that's what people don't understand. This legacy is not just about the music. Solar is the Solar family. I love these people. I love these men and these women. I love the history, the ups, the downs, the ins and outs. And I love, because my father loved these people. This was not just a business for him either. So, when you see them leaving, it's an eye opener. That's why I said this year I'm not tiptoeing anymore. I'm loving out loud. I'm doing everything loudly, because the whole thought is, what? My new thing is going through family pictures. We got a box of pictures, and there was a tub of pictures with no names on them, and we didn't know who these people were. And the thing is, I don't want to be one of those people. I don't want my children. We need to make sure, and I'm saying this literally as well as figuratively, we need to write our names on these pictures. We need to tell our stories so our great, 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 great grandchildren will know who we were and who they are because of what we did while we were here. I'm sure everybody has a box where they don't know. Can you imagine? And I looked and I was like, somebody's going to be looking at these pictures of us one day and not know who we are. And it's a sad thought, when you think about it.
Yeah.
Because we're so alive. We're so active. We're so, we're the center of our own universe because we don't know. We don't know how to be anybody else. But they were too. So, and that's another reason why I look at older people and I just have such a respect and a love Because the thing is, everybody was young and fine at one time, and then you look and then they're older and then you don't get the respect. It's like, that's going to be all of us if we live long enough to be here.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So that respect is very much needed
It's
today.
I will love listening today. Well, that's like I go to Julie's house and my mom, we love on each other's parents. I love being with her dad and her mom or my other friends and the ones that are still here because, and we're leaving here younger and younger. So we better be kind. Sometimes, I kind of goofy because, as hard as I can be and I can be pretty gruff, but I've always been the type of person to smile at somebody because you don't know what somebody's going through in their life. And you might be the only smile that they see. You may be the only person, that only love that you don't. That's why I do this. It's not about the money because Lord knows that's the hardest part of it. Fighting is, you don't have money when you're fighting. You're fighting, you're paying. You put out more than you take in. But the thing is, we have to fight for each other. We have to fight, to make sure that our stories are told correctly for generations.
That's that girl talk, girl power.
Girl,
I'm told all the time.
Sister, what's funny? It's funny. What? Julie and all of our girlfriends and we have a sister tribe. You got the Mama Bear tribe, you got the sister tribe. And that's the thing. We are tribal people. We come from tribes.
Yeah.
So what makes us think that we can just exist on our own and not have a tribe, not have a village? And that's what's wrong with us. Everybody's been pitting us so far, and that's why you talk about going to Europe. We're there because I hate to say it, we're appreciated more. Our own tribes are casting us out. We've got to do better, especially now with one of the fathers of the civil rights movement's gone. Who's stepping up in these shoes? We got to fight for us before other people are fighting for us, and we're not fighting for each other.
That's the sad part. That's the sad part. Supporting one another. That, and I'm in Virginia, and I feel it big time here. Being
my grandbabies are in Virginia.
Really? Well, I'm in Virginia Beach, so if you ever come this way, look me up there.
We were there last year. We did Virginia Beach.
What? Well, I'm down the street from the beach.
We did the festival when you guys had the hurricane.
Well, now you know how to look me up. So you can get my info from Joe.
You're going to have to come see us. I think we're doing Birchmere and this summer. So we'll make sure that Marion, that we all stay in touch.
That sounds good.
You can know, since you're following me on social media, send me a message. I'm very active.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Social media. But we get each other's numbers. But yeah, there's no reason you should be in Virginia and not come to Shalamar's show.
That's right. That's right.
And so I can get you some Shalamar merch.
I love it. And I will promote it.
Yes, please.
Well, Carolyn, our time is almost up. Is there anything that you would like to share, some words of wisdom for people who want to get out there in the world and do positive things? Because you clearly are a beacon. And by this being Black History, I just think you are a ton of history, just walking and being able to tell us. You're our encyclopedia these days because we just don't have it. We just don't have it. And so is there anything you want to share with our audience?
Yeah, we have to do our own homework. We already see that there have been so many blinders put on us for years. So, and I'm speaking to myself because I'm sure I could have done a much better job at preparing my children. But thank God my children are resourceful and they are diggers. Be resourceful. You can't know who you are unless you find out where we come from.
Wow, just heard that today.
And be kind. Life, especially in this temperature of what we're seeing right now, especially for us as a people, is extremely painful and hard to see. if we don't stand for one another, nobody else is going to stand with us. You guys, you know what? We need to be better. All this fighting and discord and everything else, it grieves. It's a grievance to our God. If we believe, you know, we are people under one God, the Holy Spirit, the Trinity, or whatever we believe. The thing is, be kind, be mindful that, you know what you're going through is a testimony for somebody else. And my dog is scratching on the door. I just heard this.
You've been away too long.
Way too long. He's like, all right, mommy, time's up.
All right.
Yeah, I do want to say I love love. I love that we need let's love on each other a lot better. Let's love on each other. Let's stay out the comment section looking for the negative, and let's be the beacons of light that cancel those negativity, because it's about to get worse. So we need to figure out what side of the fence you're going to be on.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, thank you, Carolyn. Thank you, Miriam. I appreciate you guys, and stay in touch. I appreciate it.
Okay, I bless you, sister, and I look forward to seeing you this summer.
Sound good.
And
all right.
We're going to connect.
Sounds good. Okay, guys, you heard it from her. You're going to see her again. She'll be back on the show. And so we're going to keep up with Carolyn and find out all the cool things that she's doing to keep us all alive and abreast of what's going on in the world, especially in our entertainment world, right? And then we got the Shalamar concerts that might be coming up pretty soon. So we're going to stay in touch with that. So, guys, until next week, right here, SKST Radio. Bye for now. Bye, Carolyn.
Bye. And we'll talk about fitness next time.
Oh, right. I love it.